That, shall we? Let's try that. Indeed, there we go. With a little car resting on my precariously poofed hair. There we go. A nice little place for the car to rest. All right, so technically I can say good afternoon because it is afternoon, at least where I am. German Maid and Kay, nice to see you. Pop up. Said I would do it in the morning. What's that thing? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, happy lunchtime. Yeah, we had a late breakfast and I just had some almond butter on a Triscuit. So that'll be keeping me good for a while. But hey, welcome to the Sunday of Thanksgiving, the longest weekend ever, huh? It's crazy. I promised to do a pop-up TikTok live. Judy, nice to see you. And Ismael and everybody who's showing up, whoever shows up, it's all good. I don't know. I just figured I would help you. I have done some decluttering. I am decluttering and I will in the future do decluttering. I have some photos right here I am going through. I have a bag of photos. This is talk about chunking things down. Blonde Cheryl, nice to see you. At some point, I decluttered some of my photos. And you can tell it was a while ago because these are not even like Ziplocs, right? And this says 1992 and before. So man, will I be walking down memory lane later after I get done with this TikTok live. I will be joining the declutterers here. I feel like this is going to fall over. There we go. Just a little bit better. So in case we haven't met before, and I may introduce myself throughout this because, it is the holiday weekend. It's the weekend. People's schedules are off. Maybe if you even were planning on being outside, at least if you're where I'm from, it is cold and rainy, and we actually had some snow this morning. Christine, I was thinking of you when I decided this morning to, instead of doing a TikTok live at 9 a.m. Eastern, I thought of as I like to call them, my West Coast besties, my Westie besties, and I decided to do my TikTok live, pop it up at noontime until 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, so that you can participate and hang out too. So again, in case we haven't met, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. You're welcome. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination, like a road trip, like this little car on the little dotted road towards life behind me. And good morning, Judy. And I am simply here to help you to I'd be lying if I didn't say to let you know that decluttering life coaching exists, and I could be your one-on-one coach if you're interested in paying for a one-on-one coach. But also, I show up to show you in real life, in real time, what it's like to have somebody kind of there on your side helping you with something you're struggling with. Now, if you don't struggle with clutter, maybe you know somebody who does. But if you don't struggle with clutter, I may not even show up on your FYP. Okay, Ms. Soul Inspired, nice to see you. But if you are a person who has stuff in your house, you may possibly have some clutter. Now, the quantity of clutter and the quality of clutter and how old it is and where it came from, all of that may be unique to you, but there are some core similarities with the people that I have helped over the decades, both personally and professionally, with clutter. There are some things that are easier to declutter than others. There are some things that tell us stories, and even if that story is something we don't like, it's not a good story, it's a story that makes us feel bad, sometimes we hang on to those things anyway. It's like, I don't really like that, but somebody gave it to me, and I'm afraid if they come over my house and ask me about it, I will have to confide in them that I gave it away. So there's a lot of fear involved with clutter. But I love to help you realize that there is a different perspective. There's a way of looking at it. Like, instead of looking at it all from this direction, from the past, and this has been difficult, and decluttering is so hard, and I grew up in a cluttered household. That was me. And I'm afraid if I get rid of stuff, then I'm suddenly going to need it. There's another perspective. This one over here. Maybe this is my good side. I don't know. It doesn't have to be that bad. No. Nobody's going to know. They're going to know. Sorry. You are the one who decides what you keep. You're the one who decides what you let go of. It doesn't all have to happen at once. But getting comfortable with making decisions about what you want and don't want is a wonderful way to create a life that freaking rocks. And practicing that skill on your home, in your home, can help you wake up your power of transforming, of your power of saying, I can do something about what bugs me, both within the house and maybe in the White House, maybe outside of your house, maybe in your community. Reminding yourself that you can change what you don't like. All right. So we start simple. We start in our house. Now, as I just mentioned, I have some decluttering of doing myself, but I've been at this for a while. I was a clutterer for decades. I saved so much stuff from the past, and that's okay. But right now in my life and throughout the last many years, I have felt more comfortable letting go of things that before I thought was important to keep. So if that sounds intriguing to you, I will be here on TikTok for the next 53 minutes or so, not to be specific, but I will be, to help you where you're stuck with clutter. I'm not really stuck anymore because even when I could be stuck, I trust that I'm working at a pace that feels right to me. A pace that feels safe, not to get all lifey coachy, but I will for a smidge. That makes my nervous system, instead of being in fear, it makes me feel safe and that it's okay to let go of something. That if I let go of items that I don't want, that nothing bad is going to happen to me. But that happens incrementally. It's like if you've got a small little area of comfort, you stretch it out a little bit at a time until your comfort zone is just as big as a geodesic dome. Okay? So enough of me yakking. I can talk like nobody's business on things like this, even though in real life I can be kind of a quiet person. I'm here for you. I love it. Therapy Gal Sue, nice to see you. Taking this hour to putter and declutter holiday decor. I love that. Speaking of holiday decor, this may be the weekend where some of you put away some decorations and unbox some decorations. Right before I started this TikTok live, I was down in our cellar and I started bringing up some of our holiday decor. Even deciding what I wanted to bring up is making me kind of decide, what do I want? Asking that musical question, what do I want? What of our Christmas decor do I want to decorate with this year? Notice what I put out last year. Do I even remember? Not really. But I do have a box that says I didn't use these things since Christmas of 2024, so I may open it up and look at it again. So this may be a good time for you. But I don't know. So this is why we're here live as opposed to being a freaking podcast, okay? So I will shut up and I will give you, please, write down in the comments. Take a moment and think to yourself, where am I jammed up declutter-wise? If decluttering was a journey, and a journey implies movement forward and towards like a road trip, like a destination you're psyched to get to, like a road trip. Where am I stuck along the road? Where? What am I afraid to declutter? Is my nervous system overwhelmed with even the thought of it? That helps a lot. That happens a lot. Yeah, Gene Wilder says, where do you start when you're jammed to the max? Well, where everybody does, at the beginning. At the beginning. What I will recommend, though, is notice right now, Jean, I will say this, and this is why I'm a combination declutter coach and life coach, because one of the things that you may be overwhelming yourself with is the volume, the quantity, the sheer number, and how that makes you feel overwhelmed. You wouldn't be overwhelmed. You could be overwhelmed looking at a giant elephant, but when it's an elephant like this big, you're not so overwhelmed. So you start with what you feel is easy to declutter in the physical decluttering. But what I would say, Jean, and for everybody, this is why I call my coaching destination decluttered, is before you even begin. Again, let's use the road trip metaphor. Before you start doing stuff and driving down this road and that road and this road and that road, make sure you know where you're headed. Okay? So this is what I would do, is I would grab a notebook, because I love myself a notebook with some paper in it. And I would put destination decluttered, and I would write down, and I would say, what do I want my home to look like? I would start to plan and envision what I'm trying to create. And then when you do that, and I can walk you into those steps, but I would just say, just in general, you have a better idea what you're aiming for, and you know what fits in that kind of environment and what doesn't. And then when you notice that, you may be able to start with surface clutter, stuff that you're not too attached to. Okay? But please, everybody, notice where you may catch yourself. You may not even know that you are causing your own nervous system to get all kind of riled up and overwhelmed. So catch yourself doing that. Stop. This is what I call like my little traffic cop hand, like tweet, tweet. You know? Now I think of toot, toot. Hey, beep, beep. So stop it when the words you use in your head start to give you that overwhelmed feeling in your heart. Disrupt that mofo. Okay? Now I love this. German Maid says, I sold my giant Grinch and lights to a friend. She sent me pictures when she put it up, and it makes me happy. Yeah, decluttering can make you happy. Decluttering can make you happy. Okay? So if you do it, I don't want to say the right way, that's kind of judgy. Make sure that you're feeling good about the decisions you make. Now, you don't have to feel great about them, but not feeling bad. If you are feeling bad about the decisions you're making, about your stuff you're decluttering, letting go of, let's talk about it. What's making you feel bad about letting go of stuff? Now, my husband and I'll just give this as an opportunity. My husband and I are on a different wavelength as far as decluttering goes. As it may be, if you live with people, and it's not just you and your stuff and your decision. You have to factor in somebody else's decision. And Sage Louise says, I just moved and got rid of a dumpster full of stuff. I hope that feels wonderful. I do. So today, as I mentioned, I am chunking down doing our holiday decorating, because it overwhelms me if I try to do too much. Notice that concept of too much can easily trigger a feeling of overwhelm. The way to counteract that, the opposite, as I kind of go from this and move my body and get involved, is to think of the opposite. Overwhelm is too much. Feeling better is chunking it down. It's just a little chunk of it. So I have brought some things up from the basement for Christmas. And one of the things I brought up is a clear plastic tote with a really cool looking mid-century modern punch bowl and cup set that we had used for years when we used to do big Christmas parties. Even prior to COVID, we had realized that a lot of stuff was going on during the holidays, so we shifted that one big party to June and did like a tiki party. We have not used this punch bowl set. Sorry, I'm stumbling and bumbling. We have not used this punch bowl set in easily 6, 7, 8 years. So notice, we used it in the past, but we haven't used it in the recent past. This holiday season, I do not anticipate us using it at all. And even looking into the future, notice this kind of timeline. Looking into the future, do I see us having over to warrant having a punch bowl? Even if we do, I will say this. Since I'm in decluttering mode, we just went to somebody's house for Thanksgiving. They have a punch bowl. They live a few blocks from us. If we suddenly decide to get the urge to make a bowl of punch, we can borrow their punch bowl. Now, does it fit with our mid-mod decor? No, it's like the Wexford pressed glass that my mother had, but I'm at a point in my life I don't really care. It's not as important to me to show off my mid-century modern punch bowl. So what did I do? I had a convo with my husband about it. He was a little bit iffy about it, but then he's like, you know what? If you want to do that, that's fine. I took a picture of it, and I sent the picture off to somebody who sells mid-century modern stuff. They may be interested in it. If they are, that's great. If they're not, we'll see. Now, Mama Kimbo, nice to see you. And yeah, Jean Wilder says, I have a punch bowl that I have never used. So let me ask you this, Jean. And who was it? Leslie, I just saw you. Nice to catch you. Just so you know, I'm here for another 45 minutes, okay? Yeah, and my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination Decluttered here on TikTok. Destination Decluttered, as I look at my little computer thing, on YouTube, destinationdecluttered.com on the internet, okay? Now, Mama Kimbo is saying, I'm so at the less is more stage, thanks to you. I will offer this. Mama Kimbo, and then I want to get back to Jean and her punch bowl. You are at the less is more stage because of you, and I'm just the one who has helped you learn how to get there. But you already have that feeling in you of, I want to be at the less is more stage, so you're moving towards it. I will always remind you to give credit where credit is due. I will take a semblance of credit, but it's not just me. You are an active participant in the world you are creating. Do not forget that, okay? So, go you. Now, Jean, notice this about your punch bowl, okay? Yes, exactly. You can do it. Your punch bowl, past, present, future, okay? In the past, you got a punch bowl for whatever reason. In the present, right now, you could say, do I anticipate using a punch bowl this holiday season or within the next 6 months? Okay? So I offer this to you, Jean, and the answers are 100% up to you. If you look into the future, kind of down the road, as it were, from now until June, does the notion of having a bowl of punch feel like fun to you? Does that feel like a cool thing that you want to do and you just haven't done it yet? If so, why not write down and make it, and this is a list. I have this idea that it could be fun to do this thing. So write it down and we can chunk it down and make it happen. Okay? However, if you look and do the same thing and you do the same thing, you go on that journey to say using the punch bowl and it goes kind of meh, notice that too. If you look forward in the next 6 months, do I want to use that punch bowl? And you go, ugh. Notice those are 3 different visceral reactions you'll have. And I like to attribute these to like the traffic signals that we have, but they're flipped upside down because that's how I like to do it. Green light means go and yes and fun and let's do this. Yellow light kind of in the middle is like, Red light is like, oh, hell no. So notice 3 places, 3 feelings to just say, not like a rainbow of feelings, but if you had to pick one color on that, is it green go, red stop, or yellow in the middle? And if it's yellow in the middle, we just talk about it until you decide more clearly if it's green or red. Okay? Kim Jenner, good morning. And Jean, I hope that helps you with your punch bowl. Any follow-up questions, feel free to ask me. All right? I see some people are watching internationally. Awesome. Who knows what you're going to learn here, but hopefully something. All right, Sarah kind of raised her hand. I have a decluttering question. All right, Sarah, put it in the comments and I can help you. Okay? Okay. Mama Kimbo is offering what she did that seems to work for her. I created space, a shelf in our electrical room for entertaining pieces that I only use on occasion. Okay, so notice a couple of things she did. So she decided she wanted to keep some entertaining pieces that you use occasionally, and she made a home for them. A home, a shelf, a space. But she made that home in a place where it's not within the everyday traffic locations. It's putting the things away where you don't necessarily run into them all the time, but when you go to get it, you know where it lives. Okay? Alrighty. So Sarah says, I bought a new home and the prior owners left an ironing board. I don't really iron, but not sure, and I'll wait for the rest of your question. If I keep it and pass it along to the next owners if you sell. All right, you guys, I got to share. If you just moved into that new house, are you going to hang on to something for how many years? For some mysterious people in the future? What I would do, honestly, Sarah, if you don't, what I would offer, this is what I suggest, is be cool with who you are. And if you're a person who doesn't iron, you don't even own an ironing board, maybe that person who you bought the house from thought it might be nice to leave it for you. Or frankly, maybe they had two and they just left one because they didn't want to deal with it. I would donate that ironing board somewhere so that somebody who's an active ironer, somebody who irons on the regular, could possibly upgrade their ironing board when they go to a thrift shop and see it. Don't hold on to stuff for people you don't even know. That's what I say. Trust your gut. Notice that at least you don't have it. But to me, why would I fill my home up with something that might possibly be of interest to some randos who buy my house in 30 years after my mortgage is paid off? Now, I know I'm being kind of sassy because I am, but I just mean this with like when I notice how when you articulate these things, it may sound a lot different than when you keep the thought in your head. Yeah. So this is your house now. You get to keep exactly what you want in it, and you can get rid of anything you want as well. Unlike when you're a little kid, this is not somebody else's house. This is your house. Okay? And you can do anything you want with it. That's what I say. Yeah, I've done it. And it's worked out for me, so it might work out for you too. There we go. Cat Roby, you found me again. There's some sort of connection, Cat Roby. UBB, unscheduled Beth Blinders. Now, Cat Roby knows, even though she follows me via email, is because I have an email group that everybody's welcome to join. It's free. You can sign up at destinationdecluttered.com. Today I said I was going to show up at TikTok, but I didn't know when I wanted to show up, so I decided to show up. But yay, unscheduled. Now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, there is a schedule of TikTok lives, of YouTube lives, of a declutter party. Only one, though, because I had to make a doctor's appointment for Friday. If you're interested in knowing when I'm going to show up scheduled for this week, share your email address with me. Just there's a place on my website, a form. You can kind of put it in there so I can get it, and that automatically sends you a link to a page with the schedule on it. Okay. Now, Cat Roby is folding laundry. Our business is vandalized. Last eve. Oh, that sucks. So much work to do, but I'd rather forward laundry, folding laundry. Yeah. Notice that can make you feel better. There we go. I love it. Scheduled Beth Blinders are on this week. Yeah, baby. Notice you're going to get some good stuff done when you put it on your schedule. Rock on, okay? Chaos Coordinator, thank you for sharing the live. And hey, Kim Jenner has had a productive weekend. Decluttered laundry room and spare bedroom. 2 bags of trash and a donation bag. Love it. I, too, had 2 bags of trash yesterday. Heavy trash bag filled with photographs and what are they called? The negatives. Because I realized for decades, and this is just my journey through this. You do not have to do what I suggest, but I will share with you what I did. I realized that the way that technology has advanced, that I have been in the habit since the 80s or the 70s of saving the negatives from photographs. Technology has changed so much that even if I wanted to make a copy of a photo, that I would probably scan the photo and have somebody print it from the scan. I don't even know I would not even try to look for the negative. It feels okay. I feel safe in my usage of technology now. It feels safe to me to be able to throw away hundreds of negatives from photos that I took. Okay? So, yeah. Okay? Kim Jenner threw away tons of negatives too. Right at you, hon. Rock on. Notice, though, I didn't do it for decades. Notice that Amy's like, oh my God, you did what? Notice that everybody's nervous system is wired differently. Mine and yours is no exclusion. This is what helps me, is thinking, again, the past, the present, and the future. In the past, yes, Amy, you are allowed. Here, I give you permission. Yes, because I think about this. This is what I thought. I will share with you my thought process that made me feel safe in my nervous system, because I'm a decluttering life coach. It made me feel safe, to let go of the negatives. First of all, I went through the photos and I realized that I saved the photos I wanted. I'll just use this one, okay? In the past, I used to, if I wanted copies of it or enlargements, the way the technology did it back in the day was you gave them the negative and they would blow it up from there. That's in the past. Technology has gotten better so that even in the recent past, if I've wanted a paper copy of a photo, more likely than not, I have used my digital photos. I don't even do film and prints anymore. But if I needed a print of a photo, I would probably scan it and then get another print made of it. Okay? Now, Kit Kat So Cool is, so how do you save the picture of the negative? Well, technically, in practice, you have already gotten the copies, because back in the day, like right here, so here's my thing of negatives from okay. Pam's disposable camera, 94, 95. So you would get photos, right? Like CVS or whatever. Yep, CVS. And they would give you photos and negatives. I cannot tell you. Yes, Amy, exactly. And doubles. Here's a funny thing. You guys, talk about an archaeological dig. Back in the day, okay, kids, you youngins, this is what we used to do. Oh, and there's a picture. Oh my God, this is so funny. I didn't even open this before. You used to take a thing of film and you used to put it in an envelope and you would write down the info on here. Okay? When I was going through some stuff that my husband and I had collected, this is a thing of his, and it literally says the date, January 11th of 2005. All right, so we're walking down memory lane, Melissa, but I'm a decluttering life coach, so I'm explaining to people how back in the day, how we used to have, the way we could share photos was to get copies made. So my husband wanted 25, and he asked for doubles. So he wanted them so he could have a copy, and then he could give a copy to somebody. Okay, this is really funny too, because I didn't know there was a receipt in here from Kmart. General merchandise, photo services, $8.51. Interesting. From 111. Huh. So I know of a place in Philly, because I live outside of Philly. I'm going to bring this to them and see if they can see what's on there. All right. Yeah, we had a drive-through processing. Yeah. And so notice these things. Yeah. Notice these things that we used to do. Things are different now. You can do different things now. Yes, and we got free duplicates, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I say to you, I cannot tell you, and I've literally gone through. I'm not joking, because I used to be thinking I was a photographer. I was pretty much a girl with a camera. I've gone through thousands of photos in the last couple of weeks, and I cannot even tell you the last time I ever got a duplicate made from a negative. It was easily over 20 years ago, because I can't even picture where I've done that since we've lived here where we have. So because of that idea, I used to do it that way. Things changed. So for the past 20 years, I have not made prints like that anymore. And I also look in the future and I say, I do not anticipate me doing that either. I threw away the negatives from our wedding photos. We have not made copies of those in almost 25 years. They were just getting in the way, and I don't want to deal with them and house them, nor do I want any future generations or strangers going through my stuff after I'm dying. I've died. I don't want anybody else to have to deal with it. Okay? So you are allowed to do something different, even if you were brought up by people who said, don't throw that away, you may need it someday. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, you didn't. Yes. And Julie Knox Realtor, I used to work in the camera department. They dropped off photos. You didn't even know what your pictures were. I know I have become a better photographer since I've had a digital camera, because you can immediately see what you're doing. But you didn't know for weeks sometimes until you were done with a roll of film, and then you dropped it off and you waited and you came back and then you look through. And this is a funny thing, because these are the doubles from here of stuff that I had in my in my thing. And it's like, yeah, that one had a shadow on it. Yep, all of these. Oh, here's a funny picture. Look, that's me circa 1995, before I was wearing glasses all the time. I already went through some of these because these are doubles. Right now, you know, I'm going to do this. It's okay, you guys. And look. And it's okay. It's okay. Nothing bad is going to happen to me because I just did that. All right? I say that to you because sometimes we are afraid that if we throw something away, like that was trash, I'm not going to donate that stuff anywhere, or we give it away, or it's no longer in our lives, that we're afraid something bad's going to happen. We may not even know what. I can't believe you did that. What if you suddenly want that picture of you from 94? Well, you know what? I had doubles. I'm pretty sure one of those photos that I may have when I decided to keep those, if I want to make a copy, this is what I say to my fearful backseat driver. My backseat driver voice is the voice of fear, the voice of no, the voice of don't do it. But I have another voice in my head, and so do you, but you don't hear it all the time. Okay? Yeah. And I share with you that cultivating your voice that is not fear, but it's love and confidence, can allow you the freedom and feeling, again, okay in your nervous system to do the things that you used to be afraid to do. Yeah. Oh, it's all over the place. Now, Jean DeWitt says, fellow organizer here, rock on. Tossing stuff is easy and gets easier the more you do it, but it's only easy until you feel safe doing it. It may feel very uneasy. And that's a really interesting way to think about it too, because easy, and I tend to work in opposites. Okay. I tend to work in opposites. And so sometimes we would say that easy, the opposite is difficult, but also think of it uneasy. I feel uneasy doing this thing, but that's because it's a fear, right? Okay. So, and Therapy Gal Sue says it's mind-blowing how scarcity and fear lives in the back of my mind, and I never really realized it. Yeah, this is a way that we as humans are wired. And this is how I look at it. Is fear keeps you on your toes. Fear keeps you ideally away from death. So you're afraid of being hurt by something. Somebody's going to hit you. Even if you've never been, that if you do something bad, some pain could follow, and pain is one step away from death. So you would be surprised, even if you feel like you're a very well-rounded person, how fear and scarcity can whisper. If you get rid of that, you're not going to have it anymore. What if you need it? Okay? Yeah, and Jean says, right, they have to work through the emotions to arrive at easy. And that's why I'm the Decluttering Life Coach. I help people through that process. But you're right. Once you realize that it feels easy and okay, it is easier to do it the next time. Erin, I just saw you showing up. Nice to see you. Monique, I love it when you say, I feel lighter. This is why we do it. This is why we do it. Decluttering feels better. Being decluttered, instead of being weighed down, with so many photos from 1992. Now I'm going to go through those. It's not like I'm just going to pitch them without looking at them. But I will decide the quantity and the quality that I want to keep. Yeah. Yeah. And Julie Knox, you're noticing too that the passage of time changes how we feel about things. Julie says, when my dad passed, I wanted all his photos. I don't need them. I just felt I needed them. Because you felt a loss and you thought that if you surround yourself with the stuff of somebody that passed, that maybe you would feel their presence. Sometimes we do that. It's okay. Okay? Sometimes it feels okay to let go of some of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And possessions can possess us in a dark and burdening way, but they can also lighten us up. Yeah. So notice, are your things dragging you down? If so, releasing some of those, it's like, having bricks in your pockets. It can lighten you up and you feel less burdened. So notice how your stuff makes you feel, and then depending upon how you feel, act accordingly. Stacy Wood says, yesterday, I gave myself one box to save things. If it didn't fit, I didn't get to keep it. Yes, so notice that. Notice this, Stacy. I love that idea because having boundaries can be really helpful. And this is why when you think, oh, I don't have a clutter problem, I just need a bigger house. Yeah. I would say this, be careful what you wish for, because the more space you have to store things, the more you can allow things to pile up. Now, Kim Jenner, I love this. I'm having trouble letting go of 8 to 10 beautiful patchwork quilts made by my grandma and great-grandma. Thinking of offering them to cousins? Now notice this. I love to play with all sorts of things that people write. Notice you have a question mark there. What if you changed that question mark to a period and you said it to yourself again? Instead of, I'm thinking of offering them to cousins, ? How about, I'm thinking of offering them to cousins? Maybe ! Notice that really subtle change from question mark to period and from period to ! I think that's a cool idea. If you're looking for encouragement or confirmation or safety in that's a good idea, yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. So does Shell. When you have stuff that other people may be interested in, offer it to them. Yeah. Okay. I think it's a cool idea, but notice how many times do you ask a question and does it feel different when you say it like a statement? Or like an interjection, show excitement and emotion. Or for a comma when feeling's not as strong. Right? Sorry, I got to brush up on interjections. Multiplication Rock is brought to you by Nabisco. I do know that one. Notice how you talk to yourself. If you're asking a question, who are you asking it to? Ask it to yourself and come up with an answer that feels good to you. Okay? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And this is funny because Dawn says frame and hang them on the wall takes up no space. Yes, it does. It takes up wall space. And they're still beautiful and you can see them. Yeah, that might take up a lot of wall space. And sometimes visual clutter, can overwhelm. Yeah. You could wrap them as presents and have them pick each one. Or you could say first dibs. This is what I like. First dibs. First person who says yes gets to pick from them Create a sense of urgency with the cousins if they're interested. So many fun things you could do. Kim Jenner. What a cool idea. And this is a wonderful time of year, I will say, to think about gifting the sentimental objects to people so you stay out of the mall. You give heartfelt gifts. You don't spend any money, and you declutter your home at the same time. This is a wonderful time. The most wonderful time of the year to declutter. Maybe not, but there are good declutterings that can happen at this time of the year that feel organic and natural. The connection between you and your family. You know? Now, I love this. Stacey Wood says, to avoid areas recluttering, because this is the thing too. Decluttering is an action, but staying decluttered is a habit. I committed to resetting my catch-all areas daily. So notice, changing your habit, your daily habit of doing something different in those areas that catch all. Okay? Now. Okay? Good job. And Kim Jenner, please keep us informed as to how this went for you. Okay? Because the other thing too is notice the concentric circles. Okay? Notice the concentric circles of how we declutter. The center of the circle gets the square. Anybody who's Paul Lind in this scenario? I don't know. You're the center of the circle. Typically, for sentimental objects, the next circle out will be your family or your friends, depending upon how sentimental it is. So there is a circle of people around you who are maybe directly connected to that item that may enjoy seeing it and owning it. But if somebody of that circle, let's say none of your cousins want these things, please know, Kim Jenner, that there are people out in the world who were never as lucky to have a quilting grandma or great-grandma that would love a quilt like that for their own, and you may not know them. So if nobody in your immediate circle wants it, again, notice the concentric. You don't want it, family or friends doesn't want it, the next circle out is going to be people who want it, but you don't know them. Okay? And that is okay. That is okay if you don't know the end recipient of your donations or selling. You can light up somebody's life like Debbie Boone, all right? Even if you donate things and you don't know who gets it. I know this because see these cool little train cases? I've collected those for years, and this is like a what do you call it? Like a sewing kit. Can you tell how much I sew? Which is like none. I don't know who donated those initially to wherever I got them, but I dig them. They're brightening up my life and my background. All right, so think about that. Do not be dissuaded if the family doesn't want them. There are other people who would be so thrilled to get them. I have 2 quilts. I am not even a quilt person, but I found these really awesome quilts. I have a story behind both of them, and they're made from like 70s material. So it's like psychedelic prints and all that. I don't know who initially made them, but I love them as if they were my own because they were my own. All righty. So earlier in the TikTok Live, we were talking about, and my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered here on TikTok, on YouTube, and on the internet, destinationdecluttered.com. All right, I'll be here for like another 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that because my husband's doing a Patreon in the other room. We'll see. So Rachel with a fish. You may not have been here earlier, which is fine. The good news is this is being recorded, and I'll upload it to Destination Decluttered on YouTube so you can rewatch it. But what I want to share with you when she says, I'm getting ready to sell my home that I've been in for the last 23 years. Okay, every cabinet and closet is full. Yes, because we as humans tend to not pay attention and accumulate things. And then suddenly you realize it when it's time to do something. Okay? So I will say this, Rachel. Everybody here, the number one thing that's going to jam you up, decluttering, is that feeling of overwhelm. Of OMFG, there's so much here. Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by the volume, by the amount of work and energy and stuff and decisions. I'm exhausted and I haven't even begun. Now, that's not a good way to start, Okay, so this is why, as a decluttering life coach, I remind you of these steps you can take to calm down your nervous system, to get out of overwhelm and even just into neutral. Because from neutral, you can do many things, but what we ideally want to do is calm down the way you're thinking, so you calm down the way you're feeling, so that you can make a better decision and basically just start. But start with a plan and a destination decluttered in mind. Okay? So this is what you do to nervous system downshift, okay? You take your foot off the gas. I use road trip metaphors all the time. It's just how I'm built. You slow down. You calm down your nervous system. You breathe down. You slow down your exhale. Maybe your shoulders go down. Whatever is tight, you loosen down. Maybe you shake your body down to the ground. Let's dance. Let's shout. You disrupt that overwhelm energy and you calm it down. You get more oxygen in you. Maybe you drink down some water. Leslie, if we want to pick a hydrate word, I've got another 15 minutes or so. When you feel overwhelmed, you will not do good work. When you do that, you're basically your brain and your body are preparing for a fight or a flight. So you're not thinking clearly and long-term and rationally. So we need to get you out of that mindset and then into a better mindset. Okay? Yeah, so you can make a better decision. Yeah. And how you do this, I will offer, is I like to use the word down. I'm going to give you a wicked simple way to remember this, okay? You drink down some water, calm down the nervous system, slow down your breathing, shoulders down, anything down that can remind you of this is not a fight or something to flee from. This is nothing to be afraid of. You may be initially thinking you're afraid of it, but then you say, wait a minute, excuse me. There's nothing to be afraid of here, okay? Slowing down your nervous system, calming down, chunking can get you to where you're like, wait, I have a destination of, there we go. Oh, Kat Roby, I love it that you're liking the down reminders and the hydrate talk. Yeah, everybody, let's all hydrate, shall we? That will probably help clear up this little whatever's in my throat too. Can you guys hear that? My husband's singing in the other room. Regardless. All right. We can become overwhelmed, and yes, we can become overwhelmed, and we can do something about it. We can get ourselves out of overwhelm and into something else. Yes, Cliff is singing in the other room to his Patreons. So what I may do is I may stick around for like until 1:30. All right, would that be cool with you guys if I did an extra half hour so that he and I both end our lives at the same time? If you want that, just let me know you stick around, okay? So, yay, Kat Roby. Okay, you got it. You asked for it. You got it, Toyota. Okay. So there we go. I'll continue on. Yes, please. Good. Okay, good stuff. I will only do it if you guys want, because I have other things I could do too, but I will stay with you, okay? But you got to promise me, okay? Do something good with this time we have together, okay? Yeah, Christine says extra half hour for the wind. Yes, let's go places. Toyota, exactly. So remember, as human beings, as feeling human beings, we may not realize that we're triggered into an overwhelm. But as soon as you recognize it, you can calm down. You can do something. Okay, good. Everybody's going to do something good for themselves. Maybe drink some water, practice the downs. And then the other two downs after calming down. First of all, make sure your body is feeling okay. So drink down some water, sit down. but then also write down the thoughts in your head and chunk down the thoughts in your head. So you'll hear me use these steps quite often, but I kind of wanted to give you like the starter pack at the beginning. Okay? So starting with a destination. It's funny, he's getting all loud. Now I've just distracted myself. Calming down your nervous system, getting out of overwhelm into neutral, and then from neutral, deciding where you want to head. Okay? There we go. So then when you decide where you want to go, now notice right here when we say, you know, I'm here and I'm at destination decluttered, like I'm at cluttered. If you're looking at this little cartoon above my head, I'm at decluttered. I'm at cluttered, but I want to be the opposite. I want to be at decluttered. And the road there has different steps. There's different miles. There's different routes to take. So that is right there. Each one of those little dots could represent something you write down on your list of things to do to get them. Okay? Alrighty, holographic honey, I will be live tomorrow, but you need to be sharing your email address on my website to get the schedule, because I like to keep the trolls away. Okay? So part of the chunking down, and also this reinforces the calming down. Oh yeah, and my website is destinationdecluttered.com. Destinationdecluttered.com. Writing down and chunking down also are two things you can do that provide a calming effect on your nervous system. A sense of, instead of being fearful and unsafe, you start to feel safe. And when you feel safe, you can let your guard down, because you're not on guard. You're not on guard thinking there's going to be something bad. Nothing bad is going to happen. I am in control of what I release and what I keep. And I can do this at a pace that feels good to me. And when you do that, it's like your brain kind of sighs and relaxes. It goes like, phew, all right. I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to live or die. Everything is safe here. I want to be decluttered. What's a room that that bums me out? The way it looks now. What would I rather it look like? And then you write down, you know, what's a room? Anybody here got a room that you would like to start working on? We can use some real-time examples as opposed to the ones that I just come up with. Okay? I can walk you through this process. Now, some people are already, as we like to say, puttering and decluttering. Okay, Diane says bedroom. Okay, so Diane, my walk-in closet, kitchen. Each one of you can use these same processes, because here's a neat thing. I use the phrase chunking it down a lot because, again, the vast quantity of something can overwhelm. Something the size of an elephant can feel overwhelming to the human body, because big things used to stomp on us. You're not so afraid of something so tiny. That can help you get started, or just to get so small, you just move it to the side. So Diane and Stacy and Jean, each one of you have a different chunk of your house. A room in your home is a chunk. It is a smaller piece of the entire house. So this is what I offer, and please feel free. I'll kind of mark time right here as if I was in, marching band or something. And I want to encourage you to get a piece of paper, or ideally a notebook, and a pen that you can easily write with. Okay? And when you have your pen, write down these things. So you always, to me, once you've calmed down your nervous system and you're feeling okay physically, this is the energy you want to be in when you're starting any kind of project. Okay? Now, Diane, I'm going to help you with this. I just don't know what to do with everything. All right? Everything is a trigger word for overwhelm. You're right. You probably don't know what to do with everything. I don't know what to do with everything. But, and button, that gets you pretty far. I do know what to do with something. Okay? So, Diane, notice where your words that you probably didn't think that were going to affect you have caused you a sense of overwhelm. So you could say, I don't know what to do with everything, but on the other hand, from a different point of view. I do know what to do with some things. And that gets you out of fear and overwhelm and stuck and getting started. Okay? So you don't have to do anything. The most efficient way to do this is to make sure that before you start on any kind of project, that you at least have checked in with your physical body and your nervous system, and you have calmed yourself down. You have sat down. Then you write down. And this is what I want you to write down, is your destination. So destination, boom, boom. Bedroom, for the bedroom people. Destination, kitchen. Destination, surface clutter in the kitchen, says Krug 08. Destination, box of art supplies. Okay? So defining your destination, it's like planning a vacation. What do you want it to be like? What do you want? Not how it is now, though you will be able to get some insight. What do you want it to be? You want it to be different from how it is now. How do you want it to be different? And this is, notice how my hand keeps on leaping over here, like to the opposite of this line. Okay? This opposite line of the line. On the other hand, if it is cluttered and messy and heavy, I want it to be decluttered and neat and light. The opposite word. Okay? So notice this. Notice that you may speak in negativity. That's okay. You can mine that for some good stuff. Okay. So manageable for ADHD. Okay. So here's the thing. And I'm going to help you with this. Just Natasha. I work with so many people with ADHD, and I have it in my family too. So this is what I want to help you with. These are the hallmarks of a good destination for decluttering. Write this down, and you can copy and paste this to every single place in your house that has clutter. All right, here's the formula. It's like using, let me see if I can find it here. This will be wicked funny for people of a certain generation. Mad Libs, anybody? Mad Libs? Where you used to write down the adjective, name of girl, adverb, adjective, adverb, plural noun, geographic location. Okay. So this is what you want to do. Write this down, people. This is good stuff, and I'm giving it away for free because I'm generous like that. Destination equals these three things. The first one, the first pillar of a destination, okay, is how do I want it to look? So think about it Mad Libs wise. Write down this. Destination, whatever. I want my room, I want my chunk, whatever it is, to look adjective, adjective, adjective. Start with that. You can write more, but at least write 3 ways you want it to look like. Okay? One of the ways that you might be able to mine that is to look at what it looks like now that makes you feel crappy. And then on the other hand, move your body when you do this. You know, why not get your body involved? On the other hand, if it's bad adjective, bad adjective, bad adjective, I want it to be good adjective, good adjective, good adjective. There we go. Kat Roby did it in the comments. I want my laundry to look tidy, clear, and orderly. Okay. So I love that. So how it looks is typically where we all start. Okay. Because we are visual creatures. And typically surface looks are important to a vast majority of people. Okay. So here's a wonderful thing, because somebody said manageable and Stacy Wood said functional, because here's the second one that not everybody thinks of. I'm a life coach and I used to be a visual merchandiser for decades. So I am high on function. Okay. I want my room to function, and I'm going to give you the answer to this because this is just easily. Okay. All right, so Therapy Gal Sue is I want my desk to be cleared. I want it to look clear, ready to sit at and use. Okay, so notice the usage of the space, or even just the how do I want to say, the storage of the stuff. Function easily, yes, because these are the three things. I want to easily be able to find my item, easily be able to use an item in that room, and easily be able to put it away after I've used it. The function is easy, because who the hell doesn't want easy? I love easy. Easy and peasy, like an easy bake oven. Yeah. So how do you want it to look? How do you want it to function? And when it looks good to you and it functions well to you, you're going to feel good. So let's mind that. The third one that pretty much everybody forgets except me is I want to feel this way in that room. Adjective, adjective, adjective. And again, if you're not coming up with anything, you go to the opposite. Well, how do I feel in that room now? I feel like shit. I feel depressed. I feel like a failure. Okay. What's the opposite? Okay, what's the opposite? Please always think, if you're thinking crappy, what can I think of as better? What is different? What is the opposite? And write down those opposites. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. When you write that down, you have now got your brain out of frozen fear, and it is now moving. Okay? Now, body moving. You've got your juices flowing, and you have a part of your brain who's like, let's make this shit happen, people. This is cool. Okay? Now you have something to aim for, like a road trip. You have point A, now you have point B. Actually, it's a whole bunch of points in between. But at least you know what you're aiming for. Okay? Laura Beam Voorhees, Kit Kat So Cool, awesome to see you. Also, just as a heads up, I feel like I need to do like the hour. This is an hour into a TikTok live. I started at noontime. It's now 1:02 p.m. Eastern. I will be on for another 28 minutes because my husband's doing a Patreon for his music in the other room, and it's kind of loud, so I'm going to stay here with my people, okay? My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. As you notice, I'm talking about decluttering like a road trip all the freaking time, and I'm here on TikTok. There are how many videos on the YouTube channel right now? Let me check. 908 videos. When this one is uploaded, it will be 909. By the end of tomorrow, it will be 910. There we go. Yeah, so here we are helping people. There we go. Kim Jenner just realized her Vikings aren't on until 3 p.m., not noon. I guess I can declutter until then. Yeah, why not? Always check. Honestly, you guys, always check with your own schedule, because decluttering is something you should make time for. But also, to me, I'll be honest with you, always make time for fun, too. Okay? Always make time for fun. All right? This is the kind of coach I am. If you like having fun, things being easy, I'm your man, as George Michael would say. Okay? So, calming down your nervous system, creating a definition, chunking it down. Then you look and you're going to see your room in almost like 2 dimensions. You're going to see it how it is now, but you're also going to see the overlay of what it could be. When the stuff is gone, when that's hanging there, when that's no longer here, when it's more like you want it to. And then you'll notice that there's some stuff that's just in between, that as we move it out, you get closer to that vision in your head. Okay? And that's how we start. And then when you do that, what I would recommend, and again, I like to use 3 as a magic number because I watched a lot of Schoolhouse Rock growing up. The 3 levels of clutter, after doing those things, start with the surface clutter. Surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter. Do not start with your sentimental clutter. Make sure your surfaces are good because, for example, starting with a surface gives you a work surface to work on when you need to sort out and spread out things like photographs that you're going to be going through this afternoon because it's all crappy out. You know? Photographs. Photograph. Quality. This is like a, color guard. Salem Willows, 92, 93. Talk about these. You need a place to spread it out. So creating a space, surface area clutter, decluttering will always make you feel better. Yeah. All right. And so this is what you do. Yeah. Yeah, holobrack of honey, your lives force me to stop scrolling and get things done. I will take that as a compliment. Okay? Any advice for the phone and dopamine issue? Yeah. It can be difficult. It is a dopamine thing. They make it sticky. I recommend practice putting the phone down. Taking breaks. Yes, taking breaks, Kim Jenner says. This is one of the things. Honestly, the whole concept of creating that destination and how you want to feel in that room, because we didn't spend a lot of time on it, but TikTok is just asking me to check in. There we go. So I say to you, one of the ways that you can create dopamine in this process is to create that destination and live in it. Imagine yourself sitting on that couch, watching that TV, kicking your feet up there, comfy blanket, nice lighting, not tripping on, Legos and stuff. When you start to embody the feeling of that decluttered space, that will give you some good dopamine. And that is like, ooh, that I want to go to there kind of feeling. Okay? So please notice, do not skip over that part. You're just denying yourself the gas in your tank that's going to help you put down the ducky, put down the phone, and start to do something. And it will generate its own dopamine. It's not always going to be easy, and it's also not always going to be difficult. It will be a mixed bag. But it can feel good to get started. And don't you feel better? I mean, I scroll too. But I feel so much better when I do kind of break the tractor beam. When I break the stickiness where they want to keep you stuck there and watching the commercials. I'm a Gen Xer, and I like to flip the bird to the establishment. So I like it when I can say, I'm putting that down and I'm going to create the life I live right here. All right? So I hope that helps. Now, Cindy Knight, Gen X. I love the Gen Xers. I want to share this with you. I always told my grandma, clutter causes so much stress. But here's the funny thing. Not even funny. I want you to think of this in a deeper context, in a more historical context. To us, being surrounded by clutter, it can trigger our nervous systems into stress. But many of the previous generations that accumulated the clutter were stressed by not having enough of stuff. Not having enough food, things, clothing, safety, heat, whatever it is, can cause a feeling of stress that rivals the feeling of too much. It's like being hungry creates a certain ache in your belly, but overeating creates a different kind of ache in your belly. So your grandma may not get it because she's wired differently. But when you realize kind of why they did what they did, it was to just make them feel safe and protected, that they never have to go without butter again, or I will always keep my house warm, or I will always be able to say, yes, I can buy myself whatever I want, because they remember a time when they didn't have butter, where they were cold, and they had to say no to themselves. All right? Yeah. So notice that's how other people are wired. Yeah. Now, one way you can also practice chunking things down. Notice I wrote things down and chunked things down, and somebody said, practice how do I get off the phone? Setting a timer. Use your phone as a timer instead of just scrolling on it. Use it as a tool to get you to do something that is going to create a life outside of the screen, that when you shut down your phone and you look around, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This room is pretty awesome. Why wouldn't I want to just hang around to look at my own stuff? Using a timer. Yep. Using a timer can be a chunk of time that you say, I'm going to stop doing that and I'm going to start doing this. And this is going to last for this chunk of time. Okay? Yeah. I love it. Shasta says, I'm resetting the house while you talk. It helps me quite a bit. That's good to know, because honestly, you guys, here's how I roll. Okay, as many of you know, but some of you are new to me because it's a holiday weekend, and I typically don't do live TikToks on the weekends because usually I like my own time too. But I often do live TikToks and live YouTubes on Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sorry, somebody sent something. All right, Kara's Garden, nice to see you. What I want to share with you is if you like what's going on here and what I'm talking about and it's helping you, there are recordings of over 900 TikTok lives and YouTube lives available for you to pop on the 8-track player for free on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, okay? Knowing that I have given you guys those things to help you when I'm not available makes me feel safer being absent from social media for days on end when I travel, because it's important for me to step away from the social media itself. Okay? So please note that if what you're hearing now is helpful, there are recordings there, but also if you like the live aspect of it where you can ask a question and I can answer it, I do schedule my TikTok lives. I do. There's a schedule. It's right there. But you only get to see it if you share your email address with me. This is how we keep the trolls away. We keep the clutter out. We have all quantity. And so you share your email address with me just by going to my website and filling out the form, which really just is, here's my email address, and I'm not a bot. Okay? So I hope that helps. Yeah, hey, so yeah, Kara's Garden, just so you know, and the time's going by fast. My husband Cliff is doing a YouTube, or he's doing a Patreon for his folks in the other room. I've been here for now an hour and 15 minutes. I will be here for another 15 minutes. After I get off of this TikTok live, I will take a break. I will get up and I will move around and I will get my body feeling good. And then what I'm going to do is I have a destination that I wrote down. Destination, go through a quantity. See this? That is a chunk of photos. And within that one chunk, there are smaller chunks. And within that smaller chunk, there are even smaller chunks. And my plan is to declutter along with you this afternoon or whenever. Stacy says snowed in and going through some boxes. Yeah, because we've got crappy weather here today too. I don't want to go outside. Yeah. Alrighty. Stacy says what to do with kids' clothes that have great memories. Take a picture of the clothes. Text that picture to the kid and say, oh my God, remember how goddamn cute you were when you wore this little onesie. I love you so much now, like I loved you back then when you were teeny weeny and fit in that onesie. But I'm going to donate this onesie so that some other little kid right now can look adorable in it too. How does that sound? How does that sound? All right. Yeah. You could make a quilt out of them if you want a quilt. Be careful of the end results, because notice what happened. Laura Gibbon Voorhees and these guys, up thread, Kim Jenner is struggling to figure out what to do with quilts that were made. So if you make a product out of your memories, that product, item, if you make an item out of it, somebody will still have to figure out what to do with that item. Okay? Now, I love this. Yeah. I love this idea because Kara's Garden says my 24-year-old is curating her wardrobe. What does curation mean? It's being very particular about what you keep in your collection and what you say thank you but no to. She is curating her wardrobe and giving away clothes. She was a pack rat as a kid. Now she's different. Okay? Now she's different. All right? There is hope, she says. We might have all been pack rat kids. All right? We might have been pack rats. We can change. Okay? We can change. All righty. Oh, there we go. So Kara is decluttering her stuff. She is decluttering jewelry. She says, I'm going to post ethnic/Tibetan necklaces today. See, notice she is stating her intention of what she's going to do today. Telling yourself you're going to do one thing, something is one thing. Telling somebody else you're going to do it, ups the ante. That's why I shared with you this thing of photographs I'm going to work on. So that tomorrow, and I'm just going to look at the secret page here. I think I forgot to mention this too. When you sign up for the email, when you give me your email address, the system should be sending you an automatic email that has a link to a secret page on my website that has the schedule for the lives. So like I have told you that this is the decluttering I'm going to work on, and I feel like there is a social pact here. You may not care if I do it or not, but I do, and me telling you will help me to do it, and saying, not only am I going to do it, but tomorrow, December 1st, when I do a TikTok live, and we have a declutter party tomorrow, when I do that, I will check in and let you know how it went. All right? Oh, that's kind of fun. So Therapy Gal Sue said, I got a do-it-yourself box advent calendar. I'm decluttering my makeup and skincare and filling it for my daughter. Notice that an advent calendar is chunking it down. Here's 25 things of makeup. That may be overwhelming, but when you slow it down to you open up one thing a day and there's one item there, you chunk it down. Okay? Oh. Okay, so Dawn, detached retina surgery this past week. No fun. Can't hardly see. Any recommendations for forward movement? Yes. Dawn. Okay. This is what I say because I'm going in for eye surgery in a couple of weeks myself, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. You may not be able to physically move forward. You could talk text to you. You could hold up your phone and you could walk around a room and you could tell yourself, you could make a list, check it twice. You could make a list of stuff that you want to get done in that room when you're feeling better, or better yet, pawn it off on somebody else. Okay? So you could do that. There we go. Now, some people like quilts. Laura, give me Voorhees. I love my quilt made from my father's running shirts. They even carry a bit of his scent. Oh, I love that, hon. That's great. If you're a quilt person, you can do that. If you're not, do what feels right to you. Okay, now we've only got about another 12 minutes or so here, but please know that as soon as we're off of this, I will be downloading this TikTok live, this extra bonus long TikTok live, and uploading it to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. So it will be there so you can start from the beginning. Now I love this. German Maid says, got all my morning chores done and got all the fall decor down from the front porch, ready for Christmas decor just while I've been watching you. So notice, you guys must know that girl here. It's on TikTok, Christy Newwertzen. I always wish I had my sunglasses, like the how long does it really take? Yeah, notice that took you maybe an hour and 15, you know? Every little bit helps. I think that's even, yeah, every little bit helps. Taking down your fall decor. Pairing earrings and putting them onto little cards. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Setting an intention. What are you going to do? All right. Oops. Everything popped. Definitely recommend the email list. Habit tracker and schedule are great. Yeah, that's a thing. Actually, here's a good thing. So habit tracker. On this page, I'm going to do it right now. There is a button. It says download and print your pavers and potholes. That's what I call it. Monthly habit tracker. I'm clicking that mofo right now, and I'm hitting print, and I'm going to print mine in color because I'm feeling sassy. What a habit tracker is, it's another free thing I offer because I love to give it away now. It is your habits are what create the life you have, and so it's a template for you to practice the habits that make a good life. This is my habit tracker for November. You see a bunch of colored things of when I did it, but you'll also see where I didn't do something every day. That is okay. Me using this habit tracker has increased me doing things that I know are good for me. And you can start it at any time because it's a template. You can print it off for the rest of your life. This is the one I'm going to use for December. And me using that process has helped me floss my teeth more than I normally had done. Okay? Yeah. Alrighty. So there we go. Alrighty. Good stuff. Yay, a friend decluttered her makeup. I brought it to share with my 4 nieces and sisters. They loved it. Such good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I am so grateful for you and the club. Yes, so this is what I want to share with you too, is that, and I will do this, I think at one point during December, I will have a Destination Decluttered, I guess we'll call it like a holiday party. We'll do a Zoom together so that you can see faces, and if you want to wear a Santa hat or do whatever, it will be a Zoom for everybody that's part of the email group. I will send out a Zoom invitation. Again, all of this is behind the scenes. You don't see this stuff in public. It's only for the people who have shared their email address with me. But we'll do something before Christmas so we can all connect and put a name to a face, okay? Because that's the kind of crew I like to hang with, okay? There we go. Good stuff. Erin is getting a fresh tree this afternoon and then getting out the Pier 1 ornaments. I love that. I love that. Now, I love that because I have some Pier 1 ornaments and you do too. We are going to do a chunk of our holiday decor today. It is so gloomy out that I promised that even we would do just one thing, which is, we are starting to decorate for Christmas today too, and we're going to put up the little vintage 3-pronged candles with the little C9, the C7 lights in them, the orange ones, because it's so gloomy out and we want to add some light to our own home as well as the outside. But it's so much easier to decorate when you're decluttering. Yep, just a chunk. Buying the tree is a chunk. Opening up the tree is a chunk. Decide what chunk. I don't want to do it all. I want to do some, and you do some one day and some the next day and some the other day, and then, oh my gosh, it's just done. I will share with you, you guys, that concept of doing a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit there and just kind of no big deal, just doing a little thing. That's how I did our taxes last year. And I say did my taxes, which means gets all my stuff together and send it to the person who actually does the taxes. It felt so strange to not be stressed out about it. And it felt so good to be like, oh, I guess we have it all done. We were freaking early for the first times in our lives. You know why? Because we chunked it down. We did not avoid and push off and do it till later. We started small. We noticed. We did a little chunk. We felt good. We stepped away, did something else. The next day, the next week, we did another chunk. And we lathered and we rinsed and we repeated. Everybody always forgets about the lather. I remember the lather. Okay? So think about what your plan for whatever you're going to do today is. And notice how you can chunk it down. Notice how it goes into different little smaller categories. That chunking down is going to be the antidote for overwhelming yourself with too much. Again, you've got a giant turkey. How am I going to eat all this? How are we going to put this all in the fridge? You chunk it down. I've got this whole, thing of photos. What am I going to do? I'm going to chunk it down. I'm going to chunk it down. I'm going to chunk it down, and then I'll probably put a lot of it in the trash, and I'll feel good about it. Okay? So please remember, every little chunk you do that is pointing in the direction of your destination is energy spent wisely. Okay? The habit tracker is not on the public website. It is only on the secret page. So Holograph Honey, you mentioned how you signed up for the email list. And I see a number of people had done that. You will get a link from an automatic Beth@destinationdecluttered.com email that is a hyperlink to a page that is not public on my website that has that link. Okay? We also do have a declutter party tomorrow morning. That the tickets will be available tomorrow. A declutter party is much like, as I said, it's like going together on Zoom, okay, and decluttering with other people, okay. And there will be a handful of those this December, but they're going to be scheduled a little bit less in advance because I'm getting eye surgery and I'm not sure how that's going to play out as to how much I participate, okay. Yeah. So there's all sorts of info on that page. There's a TikTok live right before the declutter party. So if you have any questions, well, that's fun. Julie Knox is decorating her tinsel tree from Walmart with the little white birds and pine cones and a Santa with a disco ball. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, we're going to decorate with the ornaments that mean something to us. And we have stopped purchasing ornaments because we feel good about the quantity and quality we have. And we don't want to reclutter our home. And I have let go of a number of Christmas decor items that I accumulated a ton of them and enjoyed them for a while. And then when it wasn't fun, I slowly, chunk by chunk, felt okay letting them go. I like what I have. I don't need any more. I don't feel the need. I am good with. Notice how we said earlier, and this might be some good stuff to kind of wrap up because I'll be here for another 4 minutes. We hang on to things to make ourselves feel better, but sometimes we do that too much. Yes, my website is destinationdecluttered.com. Okay? destinationdecluttered.com. And yeah, Kara's Garden says every year I edit our vintage Christmas collection and may add one new to me vintage item. Same way, hon. Same way. You're welcome. I give myself the opportunity because I don't want to get myself in lack. You can't have any. That would make me buy some more. I know a lot of my buying in my previous generations was because people told me I couldn't. So I said, oh yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. I will flip the bird and I will buy something. That worked until I became overwhelmed with how much I bought. So now I feel good with what I have, letting go of things I don't care for, but always leaving my nervous system and life open for unexpected delights. Okay? So notice how you are wired. What makes you cling on to something? It's probably a feeling that's created by a story in your head. So notice that. That story in your head creates you hanging on to something, whether you want it or not. So decide if you don't want it, you can figure out how to let it go by telling yourself the opposite story. Getting yourself out of fear and fighting and flighting into neutral. And then from neutral, you say, okay, hold on. Where am I headed? Will me doing this get me closer to my destination decluttered or further away? Sometimes those decisions are very clean and straightforward and no big deal. Other times, they are a little bit more complicated. All right? That's okay. Set aside the complicated things because you're going to notice your brain is still going to work on those things and might come up with an answer while you least expect it. All right? Erin says, thanks for the bonus session and extended good vibes. You got it, hon. You're my people. Come on. Come on. I like hanging out with my people. And I love knowing that I can help somebody who is struggling with something that I struggled with myself. It's okay that you have clutter. It's okay if you want to change it, and it's okay that you don't know what to do currently. Okay? I am here to help you. This TikTok Live was here to help you. If you just missed it because I'm signing off right now, that's okay. Because it's not just going whoosh off into the ether. It's recorded, and it's going to be downloaded and then uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. All right? 909 videos up there, people. Okay? I'm good people, Mark. Yes, I'm good people. Alrighty. This was fun hanging around with you all. I hope you had fun too, because if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. Okay? Time goes so fast with you. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Okay? So here's a fun thing. Alrighty? Look at all the good things you got done when you quieted down the fear and you turned up the volume on words that felt encouraging and fun and playful. That's how you can do it on your own too. Okay? So I'm going to sign off now. Remember, destinationdecluttered.com If you want to know when the TikTok live is, tomorrow, the next day, the declutter parties, the habit tracker, my one-on-one coaching, I barely talked about that, but I can be your one-on-one coach. There's a whole thing about that. And I look forward to getting up, moving around, emptying my bladder, and then coming back in here and diving in and feeling good about the declutter I'm getting done. Okay? I hope you do too. And let's see if I can hit the goodbye button first. Okay, like right away. All right, let me try this. Yes! Okay. This was great, you guys. I had wicked fun. I hope you did too. Go Vikings. Go Birds. EAGLS. Eagles.